The New York Knicks to begin this season have not lived up to expectations coming in. Coming into this year, they were fully expected to be the third best team in the Eastern Conference, or at least a top 4 one at minimum. And although, yes, they are the 5th seed right now, and it is super early, so their record and standing, obviously those things are going to change and fluctuate as the season goes on. But I would say 4-5 is far from what expectations were for Knicks fans coming in, and they just have not looked very good, if really throughout the entire year so far. They've had a few good moments, but mostly I think it's been pretty disappointing. And I think there's one very big reason for that, and that being that their depth is terrible. Now, this is a good and bad thing for the Knicks. Good because you know what your problem is, you know how to fix it, and there's a few things you can currently do, and when you get healthier, that is going to help a little bit with this situation. But then there's also an issue to where I'm not sure if it is enough that you have on the current roster, and you may have to go out and make a move, and it's going to be very hard to make a move when you don't have a lot of trade assets to make, and it's going to be very hard to add to that depth this year due to the lack of trade assets they have outside of their starting lineup. So I think they kind of have themselves in a weird situation. It could all work out and be fine if what they have on the roster can get healthy and can be enough, but I do have my doubts for that, and I'm be getting to all that in this video. I'm going to be getting to what I think caused the problem, what is making this problem bad right now, and a few ways they may be able to fix it going forward. So if that does sound interesting to you, please watch the video all the way through, hit the like button, subscribe button, and make the episode word to me. Without further ado, without running on too much, let's get right into this video. So the first thing I'm going to do is really just highlight everything. So I'm going to highlight who left the roster and who they brought into the roster to really show you how they even got into this situation in the first place, because last year their depth was really not an issue at all, but this year it is probably the biggest issue they currently have. As in the offseason, they lost Isaiah Hartenstein, who was their starting center, in free agency to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They lost R.G. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley in the same trade, obviously, that they did to get OG Anunoby, and at the time it wasn't a terrible trade and it worked out for them, but that was 2 players that they lost that were big pieces to their depth chart, and obviously they only got 1 in return that really is going to be a real depth piece. They also got Precious Achiuwa, but he's hurt right now, and even when he's healthy, he really doesn't get many minutes anyway, so they really pretty much got a 1 for 2 there. Then they lost Bojan Bogdanovic in free agency to the Brooklyn Nets. They lost Taj Gibson in free agency to the Charlotte Hornets, lost Alex Burks in free agency to the Miami Heat, and then they traded for Julius Randle in the Karl-Anthony Towns trade. I mean, they traded for Karl-Anthony Towns in the Julius Randle trade. I said it in reverse, but that one doesn't really affect your depth because it was pretty much a 1-for-1 switch, and on top of that, they actually also lost Dante DiVincenzo in that trade, so they really even lost depth in that situation as well. So although even if you could argue that they maybe got the better player in all those deals, they definitely lost much needed depth on this team, and that has been a huge problem, as incoming the players they've added to the roster this year have only been Karl-Anthony Towns in the Julius Randle trade, Mikal Bridges in the trade with the Brooklyn Nets, Tyler Kolek in the draft, Ariel Hukparty in the draft, Pacom Didiet in the draft, I butchered that name, Cameron Payne in free agency, he came obviously this year, Matt Ryan they just added in free agency, I'm going to give it to them. But the reason this isn't good, because it looks like they really didn't not add that many players. Like, they have obviously a similar amount of players. The problem is the quality of players that they added to replace the guys that left. Karl-Anthony Towns starts, so that doesn't really help you on depth. Mikal Bridges starts, doesn't really help you in depth. Tyler Kolek is a rookie who has shown promise, not gonna lie, but do you really want him to get 20 minutes, 15 minutes a game? Probably not as his rookie. Ariel Hukparty does not look good. Didiet has a lot of potential, but he hasn't even got any minutes, and he hasn't looked great in the few that he has gotten, so he's probably not a real option. Cameron Payne is obviously okay. He's nothing special, but he's currently out with a hamstring strain, so I think he's day-to-day right now, but still no telling when he's coming back. And then Matt Ryan, he played for the Pelicans for a while, and he looked good over there, but he got cut from the Pelicans, and Matt Ryan is pretty much just a pure shooter, so although he can add depth, and I think probably should play for them, honestly, or at least in this situation, he's probably not the greatest depth piece either. So even out of the 2 guys that I mentioned, Cameron Payne and Matt Ryan, who would be legit depth options, neither one of them are very great options to have, and those are really the only 2 usable depth pieces you got that came into the roster that wasn't here already last year. So I don't think you can argue at all that the quality of players that they returned were not the same quality of the players they got rid of. Now, yes, they got some very good players in return, but when it goes to the bottom side of the roster. They definitely got much worse this season, and that wouldn't be terrible if the players that they still had on the roster already weren't that bad. Now, like, yes, they have Miles McBride. He's okay. He's decent. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. He's a pretty good player. He can be a 6th, 7th, 8th man. Okay, he's not bad. Cameron Payne, like I said, is meh. Precious Achiuwa is meh. He's not as good as a lot of bench guys. Mitchell Robinson is good, but I mean, just no telling when he's coming back. He's had this hamstring injury. He's always injured. So even when he comes back, no telling how long he's going to last. And even when he comes back, we don't know if it's going to be in a few months or tomorrow. Like, they're taking their time with him. And then the only other option is Tyler Kolek. And like I said, he's a rookie, and you don't want to put too much responsibility on him on his rookie year. Combine that with the fact that they have Tom Thibodeau as their coach and already play their starters 40 minutes a night. That's when you start getting box scores that look something like this. Like, this was their last game as of recording this video. This is like an 1800s basketball box score where they used to not use subs. This is pre John Wooden box scores, okay? Before substitutes were used, this is what it would look like. And this is in 2024. This is unacceptable. There's no world where this should ever be a thing. And you cannot win games only going 8 deep when only one of those 8 guys or one of those 3 guys off your bench gets the majority of the minute. Like, you can't do that. You cannot play 6 guys 30 minutes and the other 2 15 and 1 and expect to be successful there. Your injuries are going to pile up in an 82 game season if you do that. They're way more likely to get injured. And then on top of that, I mean, you're going to get tired. Like, these starters are going to get tired. And when they get tired, the only way to win when you're playing like this is to hope that your starters beat the other team's starters so badly in the beginning that it really doesn't matter when they get tired and their play becomes less at the end of the game because they are tired. Like, that's the only way to do it, because the second you put your bench in due to how bad it is, they're going to start giving up that lead. So he's trying to play their starters as long as possible, but like I said, once you do that, they're going to get tired and their quality of play is going to also go down. So it's pretty much a circle that just keeps eating on itself and is almost impossible to win consistently in the NBA if you're going to be running out rotations that look like this. This is unacceptable. Tom Thibodeau should be shot for even having a box score that looks like that. I'm shocked that this exists. Like, this is insane to see in the year 2024. Now, yes, I understand he's dealing with injury issues and they already don't have a lot of depth, but I mean, you got to do something. You have to try to do something because your starters are really solid. Like, they're very good. So if you just got a below average bench with below average minutes, you would be fine. But you don't even do that. You're playing one guy. You're basically playing 6 guys 30 minutes apiece. Like, that is not sustainable. They're going to get tired. They're going to get hurt. And their quality of play is guaranteed to go down as the game goes on. And that's why you see them losing these games that they should not lose. Is a big reason to why they are on to a 4-5 start. And in the same token, I would also argue that is a big reason why their defense is currently the 21st in the NBA. There is no world where a team that is starting OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges, that team should be the 21st ranked team in defense. The problem is, as a lot of people would know, anyone that played basketball before, defense is like 80 to 90% effort, okay? Especially at the NBA level where they're all elite athletes, they all have great length and things like that. That is 100% effort. And it's a lot harder to give effort when you're exhausted because you're playing the entire game and you're playing other more rested guys. It's very hard to defend that because even if you're putting 100% effort in there, you're so tired, your effort level is bound to go down. You're not going to be able to move as fast, you're not going to be able to react as fast, you're not going to want to move as much. And then guys like Luka, who are only playing 30 minutes a night compared to 40 minutes a night, they're going to be a lot more rested, a lot less tired, and they're going to be able to absolutely cook you down the stretch, and you're not going to look good. And that is a big reason why I think this team, who should be an elite defensive team, is a pretty bad one this year because they are running on empty every time they get to the late third to fourth quarter. It's absolutely ridiculous. You cannot play basketball like this at the NBA level. Like, this is almost like high school level stuff. Like, you just can't play guys until you run them in the dirt. I mean, we've seen it time and time again with Tom Thibodeau teams, and you can't win like this. Now, hopefully when Mitchell Robinson gets healthy, hopefully when Cameron Payne gets healthy, they at least have 6, 7, 8 guys off the bench that they can at least give some minutes to. But if Tom Thibodeau is going to stick to this strategy of playing everybody 40 minutes a night and one guy 30 minutes a night off the bench, there's no chance that works. That is absolutely a 0% chance that works, and it needs to be fixed immediately because this New York Knicks team has too much talent. Miles McBride, I really do think he's a good bench player and he's a good usable guy. Tyler Kolek is a rookie. If you're going to give anyone Bowen a lot of minutes, give him a lot of minutes. You can run him to the ground. He's young. He can sustain it, and it won't affect him too much because he's not like he's going to be getting heavy minutes as the season goes on. He's going to get less and less minutes because you start kind of tightening the rotation a little bit. So, I mean, give Tyler Kolek all the minutes right now. Just give someone with fresh legs who can give you quality minutes a lot of minutes. So you give guys like Miles McBride, Tyler Kolek, these guys, you give them the minutes, and at least you can at least rest your starters enough to be able to give yourself a chance at the end of games. Because until you do that, they're going to be so tired, running on empty so much, that you're just not going to be able to finish out these close games that you have to, because the other team is just more rested and more prepared to finish a game than you are. And that's what's happening, and they turned what should be a strength in their defense into a weakness due to this. And I just think overall it's a pretty big clusterfuck right now, and Tom Thibodeau has got to change something, because this is not acceptable in the year 2024 in the NBA. But unfortunately, guys, that's my first video, so comment below. Do you agree with me? Do you think this is the biggest problem with the Knicks? What do you think the biggest problem is? If not, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you'd like to point, hit the like button, subscribe button, and absolutely bro to me, and hope you have a blessed day, because I had a blessed day, so you need a blessed day. All glory to God. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah.